Hello naughty steppers, it's Connor Whitmore here again with another video on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's review I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Stabby, released on Buygore Records, Blade. A British producer based in Bangkok, Thailand, Stabby, aka Dean Cawley, has been experiencing a steady rise in the dubstep scene over the last 4 or 5 years or so. Producing mostly for Never Say Die and collaborating with the likes of Megalodon, Tisoki, Dr. Ozzy. One of the producers who I would say is at the forefront of this new wave of particularly ravenous BROSTEP music, alongside others such as Too Vain and Adair. Pure energy, huge backdrops, pushing that subgenre forward with a crazy mix of ideas and flavours to their sound design. So coming into this EP for Borgore's Buygore label, I was excited to see the extent to which he would keep with that style or, change it up and evolve it in some way for this release. And I think it's fair to say that for the most part Stabby adheres to the sounds and structures that have got him to where he is today. Each song here is a pretty snappy and emphatic mix of moody, uncertain and atmospheric introductions that set the scene really well. And dubstep that is just straight up banger central, frantic and alert and insistent with the electrifying feel that it wants to deliver. This establishes a contrast within each song that is hard to ignore as a main selling point for the EP overall. The images conjured here being of desolation in the face of new hope to start, with the carnage of the drops being suggestive of war reigning on these particular lands. Before the more uplifting and colourful collaboration with Chime in the closing track Permadeath, which introduces us to the idea that hopes and dreams will become reality. The fuzzy horn notes that kick off the EP create a nervousness that doesn't let the listener know what they're in for at all. Setting the scene very well with a fantastic blend of twinkly notes, both overlaying and underlying, to provide an interesting dynamic leading into the harsher parts of the track. A really ethereal, magical introduction that paints that picture so well and puts us in the position of this Voyager awaiting their first duel, as the song is titled. And following some angelic vocal notes, we are greeted with a drop that I wouldn't say we are prepared for. Yeah, if you are aware of Stabby's style, then it comes as no real surprise. A BROSTEP drop that's as skittish as can be, with fleeting notes sprinkled over the top at points, and a generally very frightening and menacing vibe. Not progressing well initially as the layering becomes a bit muddied, but going on to bring in a winding, screechy sound that goes with the skittish stuff very well. So from the off here we become aware of that severe contrast in mood between introduction and drop, from mystifying and inviting to terrifying. The second track, Musket, is another scene setter, this time more tribal and warlike, with its contained drums to start, with more twinkly sounds creeping in beneath the fuzziness, almost carbon copy in its introduction of percussion midway through this opening sequence. Once again, there's a definite uneasiness to this build, managed well as an array of piercing screeches lie under the surface, eager to pounce. Before we are hit with another huge, skittish drop, comparably impactful in its structure, yet much more in your face in terms of the loudness of the sounds. Starting very high-pitched and glaring before being brought down an octave, taken through nice tripling effects repeatedly over its course to tap back into that twinkly aesthetic. Where these two tracks differ significantly, however, is in how they proceed from their first drops. Both cuts melt into musically led midsections, the first mellow but empowering, the second more overtly pleasant and inviting through its lead. But each of these tracks handle their second drops in completely different ways. In First Duel there is a significant slowing down of the tempo, which we are first made aware of in the lead up to that drop. And with the percussion more off kilter, the synths become more spaced out, adopting a jumpier feel in the process. Once again the winding screeches work very well here. And in Musket there's just more added to the drop on its second time round, similarly jumpy but wilder, more bombastic, at the same time coming across as more controlled too. But in talking about these two tracks together, I must return to the aforementioned twinkly sections that run through the introductions and builds, because they are interesting in and of themselves. I first heard of these sounds in Stabby's collaboration with Tisoki on his Ronin EP entitled Samurai. And I remember loving them so much and thinking, wow, what a lovely touch from Tasoki that is, because I genuinely did not think that this was a sound from Stabby's collection. Yet listening to this EP for the first time, I was brought instantly back into that sparkly world, with these sounds clearly being of the same design. This is in First Duel. See what I mean? And this is Musket. See what I mean? And it is these sounds that I feel paved the way for fellow Brit Chime to have his say in this EP on the closing track Permadeath. A collaboration that pertains to the atmospheric opening and hard-hitting drop formula to an extent, but there are certain aspects to it that ensure it is an anomaly in Blade overall. It's got that slight uncertainty from the off, yet with a warmer, more uplifting tone to it. The twinkly, sparkly effects, this time taking on a bit of a bubbly, oozy feel as the introduction comes to represent a very fruitful and organic combination of sounds. I mean, I'm saying these things as if I expected anything different from a Stabby and Chime collaboration, but I didn't really. What I love about the lead melody here is its statement-making ability, introducing itself to the audience almost as if it's having a conversation with you. And the drop is a clear concoction of the two styles, Chime's vintage glitchy musicality and Stabby's excitable dubstep that permeates this EP. There are a wealth of contrasts to this drop with so much going on, the aggression and feels of dubstep coming together in full effect. You know me, I love my analysis of dubstep music, but sometimes you just have to sit back and immerse yourself in the sounds and appreciate them as such. Following a lovely aha vocal sample, we're greeted by a lead that just has a really cheeky sort of darkness to it that brings you further into the realm of this song. We then have a double drop full of more contrasting sounds, all in harmony with each other before the main melody is reintroduced for the second build. And then Chime hits us with wave after wave of fluorescent, frazzling bass that just gets you more and more with every elevation into higher octaves and keys. It's a gripping listen. All the while Stabby's gritty dubstep chugs away, playing its part amidst the colourful tunage to remind us of the darker essence of this track. The outro is also really well executed, with this grand electric lead, not delving into the story of the main melody too much, drawing Blade to a mesmeric close. Man, they just must have had so much fun making this song. There is an extent here to which Chime takes the foundation of Stabby's sound to a new level with this track, but you know, some people will like this, others not. Me personally, I love it. It's a real whirlwind of different sounds and effects, and it just does exactly what it says on the tin as a collaboration between these two producers. Overall though, I think this EP is great for exhibiting a particular style for pretty much its entirety. The consistency of it doesn't get old and is in fact very much welcomed. Similarly to Ray Volpe's No Emotion Allowed EP, Blade's 3 tracks are the perfect length for showcasing this approach without it ever running the risk of coming across as overbaked. I wouldn't say there's anything notably bad with this EP. There's definitely points where more could have been added, or that a little more control could have been had with some of the drops. But overall I think he does very well to construct these scenes, put images in the mind of the listener, prepare the battlefield before the carnage and terror of the drops. I wouldn't say this EP comes across as special, but then again you're rarely going to get that with solely 3 tracks. A 3-track EP being designed, as mentioned, to display a particular style rather than have a journey or arch to it necessarily, because there simply isn't enough room. But very intrigued as to where Cawley goes next. Will it be another EP? Which label will it be under? Suppose we'll have to wait and see. Now in terms of a favourite from Blade, I think you can probably tell which one I'm going to say. I've said so much about Permadeath without feeling in any way like I've done it verbal justice in my analysis of it. And recommendations wise, if you enjoyed Blade, then I would look at Too Vain, Adair, Extra Terror, Urban Step, Starbuck. You know, these are all very, very good producers that deserve way more recognition and attention than they get. And so, ladies and gents, that is that for another review on the Nawtystep channel, this time of Stabby's new EP released on the Buygore label, Blade. Thank you very much, and as always, for tuning in. Be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts on Blade. What did you guys enjoy about it? Which track was your favourite from the three? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way so you can be alerted whenever I upload to the Nawtystep channel. Next to my head there should be some other dubstep reviews from the channel if you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to like and follow Nawtystep across all social media if you haven't already. With everything linked, including those recommendations, which you must check out, please, if you do anything music orientated today, rinse all of their SoundClouds, they're great. Anyway, all of that is linked in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure as always to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see you in the next one. Peace out.